she did it, and I was so happy. I was sobbing, and I was like so thrilled for her and so excited. Sometime later, she told me, she's just like, I just did it to make you happy. She's like, you were pressuring me, and I just went because you wouldn't stop. And I don't really necessarily believe that.
I don't like the word convert. I think it has a lot of baggage of like coercion and fear and anxiety. So no, I wouldn't say I need to convert people, but I do want people to encounter Jesus. I want people to encounter love. I want them to encounter who God is, so that the stuff inside of them, the narratives they believe their whole life, that they would be able to encounter the liberating person that he is. And so I'm passionate about sharing that with people when I think it will help them. So if parts of my beliefs will help somebody I meet, if I believe that it would help them to know about my experience of Jesus or who I've seen him be, then I'll share that. But I don't need them to believe everything that I believe, only if it helps them. That's kind of my heart. And I haven't always been there. In high school and college, and even probably up to 3 years ago, I felt a pretty big pressure to fix people's lives for them. But I don't need them to be where I'm at. I'm trying to learn to be okay with people being in different places, and maybe even using different words or labels or even names for what I believe the power of love is in Jesus. And just when invited to share, more definitions of what I think that is.
So this is the toughest question on the list for me. I would say first and foremost for me, I'd like to believe as many true things as possible and to disbelieve as many false things as possible. So that being said, if I am currently at this point in my life convinced of the falseness of some of these religious claims, I would definitely say it's important to get out there and kind of get people to think more critically about why they might believe in them, why they might subscribe to these doctrines, these beliefs. But that being said, I think that there's certainly people out there who truly believe, if it weren't for my Christian faith, I don't know how I would not murder people. I don't know how I would not beat people. I don't know how I would not commit evil things without Christ. And for those people, by all means, stay a Christian. Don't be an atheist. If that's the only thing keeping you from going on a brutal, murderous rampage, please, for the love of God, stay a Christian. So I would say, yeah, for the most part, it is important, because I think a lot of these beliefs can be quite dangerous and quite harmful to people. But for some others, it's the only thing that they believe is keeping them good. So keep it.
Thinking about like native populations, colonization, industrialization, all that kind of stuff, that type of thing is very stressful to me. I don't like the idea of forcing someone to become something else. They can fit into this box type of thing. The wonderful thing about the Lord is that he makes everyone uniquely, and he likes their uniqueness. And so as a true Christian, as someone who really loves God and loves his people, I don't have to force people into being something that I think they should be like. There are some requirements that are naturally going to come out of relationship with God if you're really taking it seriously. The thing that comes to mind is like the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Those kinds of things are going to come out of you naturally if you're dwelling with God. But as for conversion, I believe 100% because I know that God is true and that life with him is better, if I don't tell you about it, I will be held accountable. And I don't want to get to the end of my life and think about all the people that I didn't share something that could have radically changed their life like it has changed mine. So I think it is very important as a Christian. You have to have a mindset of the people around you are looking for the same thing that you are looking for, and you have the answer. I'm inviting you into something that has changed me and made me a better person. And if you want to participate, there's some things that will naturally come about because of the way that the Holy Spirit works in people's lives. And there's some things that won't change about you because he likes who you are. So.
Getting out of religion is a journey I had to take myself, and there was no one person that sort of pulled me along, and I don't think anybody could have. And so having that knowledge, I don't ever try to convert anybody, because I think people are generally pretty set in their ways, and unless there's that doubt, unless there's those questions that are being asked within themselves, you're generally not going to make any progress, and you're probably just going to cause rifts between people and make enemies. That being said, I do really promote the idea of critical thinking. I do challenge people to think about their own beliefs more critically. I'll raise questions with them about why they believe what they do and maybe push them to explore ideas a little bit more. I'm also a big advocate of science and showing what the answers that science can provide for a lot of the questions that we have on Earth, that you don't always need to look to religion, that science does provide evidence-based answers to a lot of life's questions. And I think it's a much more accurate way of viewing the world. And I would definitely promote science to everybody, regardless of whether you're religious or not. I think that science needs to be the key to how we look at the world.
When I went to those youth group Super Bowl parties, and in the middle of it, they turn everything off, they do a little mini message, and then they say, hey, if you want the grass to be greener, if you want your life to be changed, if you want your heart to be better, your family to be better, all of these things to be better, you just need to repeat after me and say these words, and you will be saved. You will be a converted Christian. And that just sits so, it just churns my stomach to even think about that, because I know that all those people went home and they wrote in their notebooks, we converted 10 more kids today. We got 10 more kids to be Christians. And then they woke up the next day and said, we're doing God's work because we're converting people into Christians. I don't remember hearing the stories, especially the hard stories about Christianity. Nobody talks about that stuff. Being a Christian isn't easy. Being a Christian isn't roses and rainbows. You go through hard times. And you can't convert people by telling them, I'm a Christian and I got cancer. Or I'm a Christian and my dad died from something. Or I'm a Christian and my wife got into a car accident. Those aren't good stories to convert people into Christianity. So this idea of converting people, that's not what Jesus did. He didn't go around and be like, you should follow me, here's why, and if you don't, you're going to hell. He approached people and he said, I am the way and the truth and the life, and you should follow me. And if they did, they did, and if they didn't, they didn't. I just don't look at it as a conversion style thing. It's really just showing them what life is like for me, and then say, you can have this too if you choose. Here's the Bible. Let's talk about it together. Let's walk through it together. But it's not a conversion style thing.
When I was in high school and I had my best friend Kelsey, We were both weird. Nobody liked us. They threw things at us. We only had each other. I remember going to some big Christian event. It was like a youth thing, and like all these cool bands were there. Relient K was there, and all these Christian bands that I grew up listening to. And it was really cool. And then, of course, they have a moment where it's like, hey, if anybody here hasn't accepted God into their hearts, you can come up now. And I kept trying to pressure Kelsey in. I was like, Kelsey, let's go. You have to do it. You have to do it. Come on. Just do it once and get over it. And she did it. And I was so happy. I was sobbing, and I was like so thrilled for her and so excited. And I remember months later, sometime later, she told me, she's like, I just did it to make you happy. She's like, you were pressuring me, and I just went because you wouldn't stop. And I don't really necessarily believe that. And that, I think, kind of shook me a lot. I was like, oh, you're right. I totally pressured you into it. She was always kind of a people pleaser, like me, because we've been bullied our whole lives, so we just want to make people happy. And I made her do that, and I forced my total beliefs on her and tried to make her live the life how I thought that she should. And I was happy because she went my way, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Nobody should be in that kind of situation. There's no reason to force people into that. If they find God, then they find God.